Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Abraaj and I hope this video finds you well. If you are new to this place, please consider subscribing, and to all my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your support and welcome back. In most instances, when you find a note of honey in fragrances, they are playing supporting roles. I have not come across a lot of fragrances that are honey dominant. They just help the notes of caramel, vanilla, tonka, sugar, among other sweet, delicious gourmand scents. However, on their own, I've not really come across a lot of them. However, I have 6 of such fragrances here today to discuss because they are honey based. Some of them are mixed with other things, but you still get the honey. From what I have gathered, based on the nectar or the food that the bees feed on, that is what is going to produce the type of honey. So some honey come across as fruity, others come across as woody, as some as smoky, among so many other things based on what they feed on. And that is also translated in some of these fragrances. Some of them are like fruity honey, some of them are smoky, some of them are woody, based on the other ingredients or the other notes mixed with them. So I'll start off with the very first one, which is like a very dominant, heavy, thick, resonant honey. And this one is by Kim Kardashian and it is called Kim Kardashian Honey. So this one has the beeswax and some honeysuckle. I think honeysuckle is a floral, which is reminiscent or which gives off a honey, scent with some other, woody scent. So it has the honeysuckle with some beeswax, and when it comes to beeswax, it gives off a very animalic, because it's sort of raw, that sort of beeswax, raw honey that you pull out from its source, so it has that sort of raw, unfiltered, animalic, usually they contain some of the dead honey bees in them, so it gives you that sort of animalic, thick, resonant, ambery vibes, and that is what you find in Kim Kardashian's honey. This one is like a very prominent honey, but it doesn't come off as a very sweet one. It is mixed with other florals. It is more of a beeswaxy, ambery, thick, much more resonant sort of honey. It is quite delicious, but because it has not been boxed with a lot of other gourmand notes, it is quite restricted in how it could, or quite restricted in that gourmand nature. It gives you a very realistic sort of beeswax, honeycomb, honey vibes. It is not like a refined honey, I think we have the beeswax, we have the honeysuckle, and then we have the refined honey. This one comes off as a bit ambery and thick and a bit animalic because of that beeswax nature it has. It is thick, it is quite delicious, but not as delicious as other honey scents which are boxed with other fruity accords or floral accords to make it quite different. This is quite a photorealistic honey. It comes off as a bit gourmandish, but not too much. It is quite tame in that sort of gourmand nature. There are others that are a bit gourmand on this list, so I'll just get to that. But this one is a very beautiful, unique, like for a celebrity scent, it is a very unique one. It doesn't have any, a very common, mass appealing DNA. It might not be your total or your stereotypical mass appealing celebrity scent. This one is like, could qualify for something much more expensive. It has like an expensive quality to it. It is not like super mass appealing, and it also has a very good projection, good performance. It lasts like quite a long time on your skin and on yourself. It has some floral notes, but those floral notes don't really shine, in this one. You just predominantly get that honey because of the beeswax and the honeysuckle, with a little bit of floral. So that is the very first one, Kim Kardashian Honey. I love this one. Then I move on to the next one, which is a Middle Eastern version of an Abraaj fragrance, and this one is called Carmine by Abraaj. I think this one is F.A. Paris. It is supposed to be a dupe of Abraaj Crimson Rock, and this one is a very good fragrance. The honey in this one is a very sort of piercing, boozy honey. It comes across as a little boozy, although it doesn't have any rum or cognac or any boozy nose to it. To me, I don't find this one as a refined light honey. It doesn't come across as those sort of light honey or those refined ones. It gives me the impression that it could be like a raw honey, with some bees in it, that kind of vibes as in the Kim Kardashian one. It is quite sharp, you know, the honey in this one is quite sharp, it is quite strong, it is quite animalic, coupled with that earthy, mossy oak, you know, touches to this one. It is a beautiful one. It doesn't come across as gourmandish, but it gives you reminiscent gourmand, you know, aspect. It is sweet without being overly sweet. This one has a boozy, much more earthy, and a bit of a green vibes to it. So this one is Carmine. I think I'll just do a separate in-depth review of this one, but it is one of the fragrances that has the note of a prominent honey. You smell this one throughout the life of the fragrance. As soon as you spray, you get that honey. In the mid, you get the honey. In the dry down, you get the honey. It is like, you know, very, very prominent, if that is what you are looking for, the note of honey. Then I move on to the next one, which is Kismet Angel. So when it comes to Kismet Angel, it is made up of the note of honeycomb. And although those ones come across as animalic, this one doesn't have any animalic nature to it. It is quite refined. This one comes across as those sort of honeycombs that someone artificially do them. You know, there are so many different, because you have the ones that you get the natural one from the forest, and then we have the ones that are man-made. You know, they rear the bees and do it, but it is not like the forest authentic ones. And that is what I find in this one. This one gives me that sort of done in the house, you know, that sort of honey, or a garden, you know, like a farm, like a honey farm, you know, that kind of feel. It is quite thick, it is quite resinous, but it is not animalic. And it helps really in pushing this one to be much more gourmandish, because of that apple pie, cognac vibes it has in this one. In this case, honey is not like the most prominent, but you can still smell it. You can still get that honey essence that it has to it, which makes it a bit more resonant and thick and rich. So this is Kismet Angel. So the next honey based fragrance I have here has the honeysuckle, which is floral based. So it gives it a fragrant floral honey nuance. And this one is called Juicy Couture Gold, you know, the gold version. It is a beautiful caramel with some vanilla. I think it has some vanilla, but it's supposed to, with some, you know, berries. It's supposed to be this fruity, delicious gourmand scent, and it is. Before I got this fragrance, I got the impression it was going to be an overly sweet fragrance. However, I don't think it is overly sweet, you know, to the point it becomes sickeningly. This one has some honeysuckle, which is a floral fragrance honey, or fragrance a honey, which is more of a floral, you know, has a floral touch or floral note to it. So because of that, you don't get much of that honey essence. However, you still get it. It makes it quite thick, quite resonant, quite ambery. It gives off a bit of an ambery vibes to this one. It is quite sweet, but the infusion of the berries and the caramel and other fruits makes it quite wearable. I don't think it is sickeningly sweet at all. It was, the impression was made to me before I got this one that it was like overly sweet, juvenile, but I don't think so. The honey is there, but it's not like the center stage, you know, playing the major role in this one. You get the berries, a little, just a little of the berries, but you get that caramel and that resonance touch of the honey. So this is Juicy Couture. If you just want to maybe try the scent of honey, but you think it might be a little overbearing, then you can just start with this one. It's a very good one, very delicious. It's not a realistic honey scent, but you still get that floral, light honey nuance to this one, and it's a very beautiful one. The next honey based fragrance I have here is quite a complex one. You will not necessarily just feel the honey as soon as you spray, but getting to the mid of the fragrance, then you begin to get the honey. It is quite sharp and a bit animalic and earthy as the Carmine by Abraaj. It gives me, it comes off as the same sort of vibes, and this one is called Caesar by F.A. Paris. It is a dupe for Tiziana Terenzi's Chimera or Chimera. It gives me that sort of Carmine vibes, be that it has that animalic honey, you know, it also has that animalic honey with a bit of boozy vibes and some earthy touches to it. It is quite complex with some leather, some suede, some carnation, a host of notes, over 25 notes, like, but it comes together to create this beautiful concoction of a fragrance. I totally adore this one. It gives me that honey, which is quite animalic, coupled with that earthy vibes to it. The honey in this one is also quite sharp and piercing. It is also very delicious. It's like honey boxed with sugar, you know. It gives me like a caramelized honey. If you caramelize honey, that is something, if it feels like you get something like that in this one. It's like a very sweet, sharp, a little boozy sort of honey. That is what I find in this one, with a bit, you know, of an animalic nature to it. It is quite resonant, but somehow it's not as thick and resonant as Kim Kardashian. You know, I think that is the most resonant honey I have come across. That is very thick and resonant, you know, and ambery, you know, with that sort of deep animalic honey. But this one is quite on the sharp side, with a little bit of boozy vibes to it. It's a beautiful one. The note of honey is quite prominent. You get it. You don't get it immediately, but just let it, you know, calm down in after the first 2-3 minutes. Then you just get that sharp, boozy, you know, piercing honey, you know, note in this one. It is a very beautiful one. So this is Caesar by Giovanni Lorenzi, F.A. Paris. And the very last one I have here, to me, is the most beautiful honey fragrance I have come across. It is a perfect balance of honey and other florals, with some ginger and some orange mandarin. And this one is called Illicit by Jimmy Choo. I think Jimmy Choo that do like a lot of realistic gourmand scents, because this one gives you a very realistic gourmand sort of honey, you know, and this honey lasts like throughout the life of the fragrance. You get the honey, you get that ginger, that warm spice, you get some florals to it. It is very beautiful. I love this one. The honey here is quite floral, you know, it comes out across as floral. It is not a beeswax. I think it's just honey, you know, so it's like a refined sort of honey with that mandarin. You get that orange blossom, you know, sort of feel, something like neroli sort of feel to it. And then you get the other spices. It is a very well blended one. I think this is one of the photorealistic honey scents, and this one is one of the best that I have come across in terms of honey infused with other florals, you know, and that ginger note makes it much more spicy. And this is Illicit by Jimmy Choo. So that is all I have for you. 6 amazing honey based fragrances. They are not like really common. You find them supporting a lot of notes, but when they are center stage, they make some phenomenal fragrances. That's all I have for you today, and I hope this video found you well. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. I would truly appreciate that. Thank you so much for your time here, and I hope to see you in my next one. Take care. Bye bye.